If your hands feel stiff when you wrap them around your morning coffee cup, if your fingers resist when you try to button a shirt, if the first few steps out of bed send a sharp reminder through your heels or toes, you are not alone. For many adults over 60, hand and foot pain becomes a quiet, daily companion. Sometimes it's a dull ache, sometimes it's stiffness, sometimes it's tingling or burning that seems to come from nowhere. And most people are told the same thing. It's just aging. But what if that's only part of the story? What if some of your discomfort isn't simply wear and tear, but the result of low-grade, silent inflammation, reduced circulation, or oxidative stress quietly building over time? Here's something even more important. Pain medications can be helpful. They absolutely have their place. But most of them work by masking symptoms. They don't necessarily change the internal environment that allowed the pain to develop in the first place. Food, on the other hand, interacts directly with inflammation pathways, blood flow, and cellular repair. And that's where this becomes interesting. Today, we're going to walk through 4 specific fruits, backed by science, that may help support joint comfort, circulation, and nerve health in your hands and feet. By the time we reach number 1, you'll understand why many people overlook what may be the most powerful fruit for joint comfort. Before we talk about the fruits themselves, we need to understand why this pain happens in the first place. Let's approach this calmly and scientifically. As we age, several predictable physiological changes occur. Cartilage, the smooth cushioning tissue at the ends of your joints, gradually thins. That alone can increase stiffness and mechanical discomfort in the fingers, wrists, ankles, and toes. But cartilage loss is only part of the story. Many adults over 60 also experience chronic low-grade inflammation. This is not the dramatic swelling you see with an injury. It's subtle, persistent, quiet. Inflammation is like a small internal fire that never fully goes out. Over time, that low-level fire can irritate joint tissues and even sensitize nearby nerves. At the same time, circulation naturally declines. Blood vessels become less flexible, meaning less oxygen, and fewer nutrients reach the small joints of the hands and feet. Waste products may clear more slowly. There's also oxidative stress, cellular wear and tear caused by unstable molecules that accumulate over decades. And in some cases, increased nerve sensitivity, which can produce tingling, burning, or pins and needles sensations. It's important to distinguish between inflammatory pain, often stiff and achy, and nerve-related discomfort, which may feel sharp, electric, or burning. Now, to be clear, food does not replace medical treatment. Severe arthritis, neuropathy, or autoimmune conditions require proper care. But here's the hopeful truth. Certain nutrients can influence inflammatory pathways, circulation, and oxidative stress. This is not inevitable decline. It is a modifiable process. To make this practical, I'm going to walk you through 4 fruits, counting down from helpful to potentially powerful. Here's how we're going to approach this. I'm going to walk you through 4 specific fruits in a clear countdown format, starting with one that offers solid anti-inflammatory support and building toward one that may provide broader circulation and cellular protection. This ranking is based on 3 factors: anti-inflammatory compounds, antioxidant density, and ability to support blood flow to small joints and nerves. Each fruit has value, but by the time we reach number 1, you'll see why it stands apart. Let's begin with a fruit many people already enjoy. At number 4, we have pineapple, specifically for a compound called bromelain. Bromelain is a proteolytic enzyme, which means it helps break down proteins. But here's why that matters for pain. During inflammation, your body produces certain inflammatory proteins that contribute to swelling and tissue irritation. Bromelain helps break down inflammatory proteins. In simple terms, it may assist your body in clearing some of the biochemical debris that keeps joints feeling puffy and stiff. Several studies have explored bromelain's potential role in joint discomfort and post-exercise soreness. While it's not a replacement for prescription treatment, research suggests it may modestly reduce swelling and improve comfort in mild inflammatory conditions. This is particularly relevant for those who experience swollen fingers, mild hand stiffness, or puffiness in the joints, especially after activity. But here's an important detail many people overlook. Bromelain is most active in fresh pineapple. Canned pineapple is typically heat processed, which significantly reduces enzyme activity. Who benefits most? Individuals with early stiffness, mild inflammatory discomfort, or activity-related swelling, not advanced joint degeneration. In terms of usage, aim for about 1/2 to 1 cup of fresh pineapple daily. For optimal enzyme activity, it's often recommended to consume it between meals, when bromelain is less likely to be used for digesting food and more available systemically. This isn't dramatic, it's subtle. But subtle, consistent steps often create meaningful change over time. And remember, this is just number 4. Because bromelain isn't the only natural compound that quiets inflammation. At number 3, we have blueberries. Small, simple, and extraordinarily powerful. Blueberries are rich in anthocyanins, the natural pigments that give them their deep blue color. These compounds are potent antioxidants. And here's why that matters. As we age, our joints and surrounding tissues are exposed to ongoing oxidative stress, a kind of cellular wear and tear. Over time, oxidative stress contributes to cartilage breakdown, inflammation, and even increased nerve sensitivity. Think of antioxidants as rust protection for your cells. They help neutralize unstable molecules before they can damage tissues. In the context of hand and foot pain, this means potentially slowing the processes that contribute to stiffness and irritation. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Blueberries also support vascular health. Healthy blood vessels mean better circulation to small joints and nerve endings. That improved blood flow may help reduce some forms of discomfort, especially when circulation is part of the problem. There's also emerging research suggesting that anthocyanins may benefit brain health, which matters because pain perception is partly processed in the brain. Supporting both vascular and neurological systems creates a powerful synergy. What most people over 60 don't realize is that chronic microinflammation, not dramatic swelling, often drives persistent discomfort. Blueberries quietly target that internal environment. In terms of use, aim for 1/2 to 1 cup daily, fresh or frozen. To keep blood sugar stable, pair them with a source of protein, like plain yogurt, nuts, or chia seeds. This is long-term protection, not a quick fix. Now we move into a fruit specifically studied for joint pain. At number 2, we have tart cherries, a fruit that has been directly studied for joint discomfort and inflammatory conditions. Tart cherries are particularly rich in anthocyanins, similar to blueberries, but in a concentration that appears to influence specific inflammatory pathways. Some research suggests these compounds may gently affect the COX pathway, the same pathway targeted by certain anti-inflammatory medications. Now, to be clear, this does not mean tart cherries replace prescription anti-inflammatories, but it does suggest they may offer a mild, natural complement under physician guidance. Tart cherries have also been studied in people with osteoarthritis and gout. One reason is their potential ability to help reduce uric acid levels, which is particularly relevant for gout-related foot pain. Lower uric acid may mean fewer flare-ups for some individuals. Many adults report reduced morning stiffness after consistent intake, which is significant. That first movement of the day often tells you how inflamed your system truly is. Here's the key point. What most people over 60 don't realize is that consistent intake matters more than occasional use. Having tart cherry juice once during a flare is unlikely to produce dramatic change. Daily, moderate consumption over weeks is where benefits may appear. In terms of usage, look for unsweetened tart cherry juice, about 4 to 8 ounces daily. Alternatively, freeze-dried tart cherry powder can be mixed into water or yogurt. Whole tart cherries are excellent when in season. If you're monitoring blood sugar, portion control is essential. Choose unsweetened forms and avoid concentrates with added sugars. This is not a miracle, but it is powerful when used correctly. And finally, the fruit that supports not only inflammation, but circulation at a deeper level. At number 1, we have pomegranate, a fruit that stands apart because it supports not just inflammation control, but circulation at a deeper level. Pomegranates are rich in powerful polyphenols, particularly compounds called punicalagins. These are among the most potent antioxidant molecules found in nature. But here's where it gets especially important for hand and foot pain. Pomegranate compounds have been shown to support nitric oxide activity in the body. Nitric oxide is a molecule that helps blood vessels relax and widen. When vessels dilate properly, blood flows more efficiently into small capillaries, the tiny vessels that nourish your fingers, toes, and nerve endings. Healthy circulation delivers oxygen and removes inflammatory waste. As we age, microcirculation often declines. The smallest blood vessels become less responsive. That can contribute to cold hands, tingling feet, stiffness, and delayed tissue repair. By supporting nitric oxide pathways, pomegranate may help improve this microvascular function. Better circulation means improved nutrient delivery and potentially calmer, better nourished tissues. But that's not all. Research also suggests pomegranate polyphenols may influence inflammatory gene expression, helping reduce signals that keep inflammation switched on. In other words, it may work both at the vascular level and at the cellular signaling level. There is even emerging interest in how improved blood flow may support nerve nourishment, which is particularly relevant for those experiencing mild neuropathic discomfort. In practical terms, you can consume 4 to 8 ounces of pure pomegranate juice daily, ensuring there is no added sugar. Alternatively, fresh pomegranate seeds can be added to salads, yogurt, or oatmeal. Consistency matters. Most studies examine regular intake over weeks, not occasional use. Now, this doesn't mean pomegranate is a cure, but when you combine improved circulation with antioxidant defense and inflammation support, you create an environment where healing is more possible. This is where food becomes strategic, not random. But fruit alone is not a miracle. Context matters. Here's something most people overlook. No single food works in isolation. The real power comes from synergy, how different habits layer together to calm inflammation and improve circulation. First, consider pairing these fruits with omega-3 fats, such as walnuts, chia seeds, flax seeds, or fatty fish. Omega-3s help regulate inflammatory pathways, and when combined with antioxidant-rich fruits, the effect may be amplified. Second, add gentle daily movement. Even 15 to 20 minutes of walking or light resistance exercises improve circulation to the hands and feet. Movement acts like a pump for your vascular system. Hydration also matters. Blood that is properly hydrated flows more efficiently through small vessels. Don't overlook adequate protein. Your joints, tendons, and supporting tissues require amino acids for repair. Without enough protein, the body struggles to rebuild. At the same time, reducing refined sugars and ultra-processed foods helps lower inflammatory load. Excess sugar can counteract many of the benefits these fruits provide. Finally, remember the gut inflammation connection. A healthy digestive system supports balanced immune signaling, which influences joint comfort. This isn't about adding complexity. It's about building layers of support. You are someone who builds health intentionally, step by step. Let me share a short story that brings this together. Let me tell you about a 72-year-old woman, I'll call her Margaret, who had been struggling with persistent hand stiffness for years. Mornings were the hardest. Opening jars, fastening jewelry, even holding a pen required effort. She wasn't looking for a miracle. She was already under her physician's care and taking appropriate medication, but she wanted to support her joints naturally. Margaret began adding unsweetened tart cherry juice daily, along with 1/2 cup of blueberries most mornings. At the same time, she incorporated light resistance band exercises 3 times per week to improve circulation and maintain hand strength. She didn't notice dramatic change in the first week, or the second. But by week 8, she reported something subtle yet meaningful. Less morning stiffness, improved grip comfort, and fewer aching days. Her doctor monitored her progress, and no medications were stopped or replaced. This was complementary support, not substitution. The key lesson? Consistency, patience, layered habits. Improvement after 60 is often gradual, but very real. Now, a few important safety considerations. Before adding any of these fruits in significant amounts, a few important reminders. If you have diabetes or blood sugar concerns, monitor portions carefully. Even natural sugars can raise glucose levels. Pair fruit with protein or healthy fats to reduce spikes. Practice portion control. More is not better. Moderate, consistent intake is more beneficial than large servings. If you take blood thinners, especially medications like warfarin, speak with your physician before increasing pomegranate intake. Pomegranate may interact with certain medications in ways that require monitoring. Be mindful of food allergies or sensitivities, particularly with pineapple. And most importantly, these fruits are not a substitute for medical treatment in cases of severe arthritis, advanced neuropathy, or autoimmune disease. They are supportive, not curative. Used wisely, they can be part of a comprehensive plan. And here's what I want you to remember most. Aging is real, but suffering is not always inevitable. Every day, you make choices that shape your internal environment. Food is not just fuel, it is information. It is daily medicine. When you choose anti-inflammatory, circulation-supporting foods, you are sending your body a signal to repair, calm, and protect. You are not powerless in this process. You are proactive, intentional, capable of meaningful change, even after 60. If you feel comfortable, share in the comments your age, where you're watching from, whether your pain affects your hands, your feet, or both, and which fruit you're planning to try first. Your experience may inspire someone else.